So, Mike, when I was a kid, I was dyslexic and ADHD. So at school, I was a bit of a rat bag, spitballs in the back of the other kids' heads, anything to disturb the class. Because when I sat down at the desk, it was all a bit of a blur to me, and I couldn't concentrate or focus on anything. So, I get sent out of the room and get the cane quite a bit. But I was a bit unplugged at the same time, I didn't have a lot of friends. My best friend was pretty much just like me, I found out later, dyslexic, ADHD. So we were sort of in the same box together, but I love balls. And one day I saw someone juggling and I decided to learn to juggle in about 5th class. And it took me about a year to 2 years, can't quite remember, to learn how to do it. You can probably juggle, can you? Yeah.
Not too bad.
Yeah, I'm just a 3-baller.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah. But what I didn't know, but by learning to juggle, I was learning to focus and concentrate. And so at school, instead of me being, I don't know whether I mentioned I was an F grade student. So, but as soon as I learned to juggle, my grades went up. I became eventually a C grade student. But I could focus and I could concentrate. I could listen a lot better. I could comprehend, and I had more friends. So it made a massive difference in my life when I was about 8 or 10 years old. And in my 20s, I decided to look up juggling and why did it help me so much. And I found out that by learning to juggle, I was connecting the right and left hemispheres. So everything started talking to everything up there,
That's right.
And then a couple of years ago, I bought a 3D printer, and I was lying in bed thinking about what can I print, and I was also thinking about, you probably didn't ever play this, but there was a game called Knuckles, 5 knuckles on the ground. You would pick them up, throw them in the air, and then catch them on the other side of your hand.
Okay.
You can still buy them though. And I was thinking about that, and I thought, well, why can't we catch on all 5 sides of our hand? So that's how the thingy flip came about.
Okay.
Yeah. So
wow.
It's an interesting little story.
Yeah, that's
and going into sort of historically eye-hand coordination, we've got the education system, which has been struggling to get the results that they used to get in the 1980s. For 40 years have been struggling to get back to that sort of level. And then I looked into IQs, and when IQs started, so the French started the IQs in about 1900, and in 1935 a guy called Flynn discovered that IQs were going up by 2 to 3% every 10 years. So it doesn't sound like much, but it was actually quite a lot. So right through the 1900s, right up until about 1980, IQs were going up by 2 to 3% every 10 years. And then in about 2000, they discovered that IQs were actually going down by 2 to 3% every 10 years. And that's now called the reverse Flynn effect. And basically, see, when I grew up, how old are you?
I'm 34.
34. I'm 59 now. And so I finished school in 1980, and after school I used to go home. I would throw the ball for hours in the garage, even by myself, just up against the wall, or I'd throw it to my brother. Or I'd be in the park, or I'd be doing something sporty, or on a tennis court, or whatever, And of course nowadays it got worse and worse slowly from 1980 through to now. The kids are going home, they're straight onto they're good with their thumbs.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
That's the big problem.
Yeah.
The rest of the things aren't working.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the figures are in Australia, but in the US now, the kids, when they reach the age of by the age of 13, 70% of them have given up all sports.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's in the US, but I'm not sure what it is here. I'm sure we're a lot better than that.
We are a lot better.
Yeah.
But our sedentary lifestyles are still high. The percentages are too high for where they should be.
Yeah. So that loss of, and it's time, you know, it's 2 hours after school every day that we used to do. It's time. So with my invention, what I've done is I've crunched that hour and a half, 2 hours every afternoon down into 10 minutes. So for example, it takes an hour and a half to play 2 sets of tennis.
Yep.
And you will get around about 570 shots. And so with the thingy flip, you can do 600 movements, eye-hand coordinations, in around about, I can do it in under 6 minutes, but you could probably do it in under 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can do the equivalent of a couple of sets of tennis in about 10 minutes.
So it's accelerating.
So it's hyper eye-hand coordination. That's what I'm here to do. And so I'm here to try and help fix the education system if I can, by helping the teachers, by giving the teachers kids that have got brains that are totally connected, so that when they're teaching, it's all getting soaked in, and they've got better communication and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, so that's where I'm at.
That's amazing.
My son, who he went into year 7, so he's a bit of a chip off the old block. Okay. He's not as naughty as me though. So he's been getting in year 7. He was taken out of mainstream. I don't know whether you do that in this school or not, and put into what they call a life program. And so he's now in year 9, and now he's just been invited back into mainstream. So yeah, so he's really come along really big time. He's really communicative, a lot more communicative now, and going really well. But it's not actually that easy. So you've never done this before. You've never caught a ball on the other sides of your hand, but you're obviously a very skilled sportsman. So yeah, if you go to this side first, right, that's easy. Go to red, go to purple. So now what you've got to start thinking about is soft hands. You know about soft hands, so you really think about soft hands. The next one's this side here, so it's a fist pump like that.
Okay.
Yeah, good. And then back to yellow.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So once you get going at it, you can get it quite smooth, and you can see the soft hands coming in there.
Yeah.
So
it's about momentum as well.
Yeah. So it's about just tracking the ball and for the kids, this is actually really quite difficult.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. This is what they'll be doing. What I just did now is what the kids will be doing.
Yeah. So I did 2nd graders, for example, and these are the figures I got over a 6-week period.
Yep.
So in the first half hour, introduced it to them. So we have the license system, which is goes from yellow, which is 10 side to side right, 10 side to side left, and 1 5 sides, and then it goes up from there to orange license, red, purple, and black. Black's 100 side to side. Year 2 statistics for the first week, only 3 as an average over about 40 kids. Actually, I think it was about 100 kids from 2 schools, because I added them both together. 2nd week, 7 of those. 3rd week, 13. 4th week, 16. 5th week, 27. 6th week, 34.
Okay.
Which says to me, you know, and that's only 3 hours when you add up those half-hour sessions. It's only 3 hours.
Yeah.
It says to me that the kids have got that. The skills could be there, but they're not being utilised. They're not being given any practice or utilised, you know, for that particular. And it's obviously it's brand new sort of stuff as well. But yeah, so they can improve really fast.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Motivating the students, because that's the hardest thing that I have found.
Yeah.
So if I'm sitting, if I'm hypothetically speaking,
if
I see a kid here and he's sitting there just looking at it and be like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
What can I do to motivate that child?
I've got a guy in Switzerland who's been using them, and we don't have that problem. it becomes almost a race for them to get their licenses.
Okay.
So I have licenses. I have a coloured licenses. So that's a license there.
Oh yeah.
And you would tick off or sign off on each license that they get.
Yeah. Okay.
Goes from yellow through to, and I get them coming up to me all day long going, I've got my yellow license, I got my yellow license.